in this retreat we have kept the same topic of interfaith for all the teachers, unity and peace in the divisive world. How many of you watch television or news channels or social media? Okay, thank you. Most of us do, and some of us are very much interested in politics. I am not going to talk about that, but some of us. So, we keep on watching on social media debates, and in the modern time there is a trend that every news channel you will find 3-4 people from different groups or parties sitting, and they are having a debate. So, if you really observe it as a neutral person, you will find that one person is instigating, okay. Then another person is giving argument, and then next one is counter argument, and they reach no conclusion, isn't it? Means at the end of the debate, when you attend that on the television, what is the real gain? But still we enjoy, because it is entertainment for our mind, isn't it? And when you are watching the social media or these things, you must have realized the difference in your life when social media was not so much connecting the people before. Let us say 30 years ago, we just knew only the newspaper, and we were more peaceful, more happy, and I think we were more united at that time. Now, things have changed. However, this is the truth of life. You must have realized also that we are living at present in a polarized world, where people have different ideologies, different opinions, and strong biased views. You know why I am using strong words? Because I see it when I am traveling, meeting people. So, I see, and that is the way of life nowadays. In every part of the world, there are conflicts in the society, and you see that people are more divided even within the society also. And we see this division at the political, religious, economical, social, even family fronts also. You know, in the same family, some member is supporting a particular group or party or some idea, and another member is completely opposed of, which is very common nowadays. Although we all know this proverb, united we stand, divided we fall. I heard from Guruji once, united we stand and American we fall. Means it is about the airlines, okay? About the airlines. It was just a joke. I think United is doing better than American Airlines. However, jokes apart, what are the causes of these division? Because if we want to find the solution or answer to a problem or a question, we also need to ponder upon the causes first. Unless we know the cause, how can we eradicate it? There are many different causes for that, but we can divide the causes in two ways. Like there are internal causes and there are external causes of this division in society or in groups or in different communities even. The internal causes of a cultural divide, which we see too much nowadays, unfortunately. It refers to the cause based on the personal characteristics of an individual. The internal cause is because of the personal characteristics of a particular individual, such as the personal way of thinking. Each one's mind is different and we are unique. You know, two minds cannot think the same way, whether it is family, country or even ashram, because we always have some difference of opinion. also the internal mental structure or habit that influences a person to act. So, these are the internal causes. Some of the causes we all know, I will just briefly tell you, which we very often see nowadays. It is the ideological difference. Why so much conflict we see? Because it is the difference in the ideology. A person is following a particular ideology and another person follows something different, and then there is a clash with these ideologies. What does it really mean? The rules, norms and the way of thinking are often inculcated at a young age. We do not learn everything at the age when we become adult, but we start learning from the early age, and at young age we receive more information and we become more and more conditioned with our mind. And these ideas which we receive from external causes or family or friends, they shape a person's mindset, and that mindset we carry everywhere. And what is mindset? It is a kind of thinking lifestyle, or you can say a thinking style, that I think in this way. And this explains that how two people can be culturally different and they see things differently. Many times I had taken class about perception. So, perception again it depends on our mindset or ideology. What is perception? Perception, suppose if you write number 6 on a piece of paper, if I write number 6 and I just show you. So, from your angle it looks like number 9, but from my side I am seeing it is number 6. Now, who is right and who is wrong? The both are correct, because they are seeing something from their viewpoint, from their angle. But this simple thing becomes the cause of our conflict. No, I am right, somebody says no, I am right because I am seeing exactly, it looks like this. Unfortunately, when Gurudev left his physical frame, after that there was also a little conflict between some disciples. Gurudev taught like this, Gurudev said this, I said no, Gurudev said this. So, one sentence or one teaching interpreted in different ways, and then they have conflict. Look, you can interpret things in many ways, but see what is the core teaching behind that, what is the inner meaning behind that. And anything is said by the master, at least it is always having some metaphor or it has some message. Another thing, when master is conveying something, it must be, or most of the cases I would say, it is addressed to or given that teaching to a particular person in a given circumstances. So, you cannot say it is a general rule for everybody, and that is where we make a mistake and we say we have conflicts. However, let us take the example of this difference in ideology. You see that we say that Western countries or then East India, or not India, but Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, we see a lot. What is the difference? We are all same human beings, anatomically, physiologically, we are not different, we are same, but the difference is the mind. Like hardware is same, the software is changing in each one of us. So, because of that difference, we think in a different way. Now, in the Western part, for example, which I have also observed, that the mindset is different. How? It is more individualistic approach, that I am there, I have to exist, I have to survive. So, it is hard life also. But if we see the cultures from the eastern part of the world, we see that the mindset is different, it is collective, because they are more family based, more community based. But here in the West we have individual mindset. So, now because of this difference, and what is the basis? Basis is our history, our habits or long teachings from long time. So, that makes this mindset, and because of that you will see there is always a difference in opinions, and it is perfectly normal, perfectly acceptable unless we start fighting, which is useless. However, so this is called ideological difference, and then there is also a reason called stereotype. Stereotype means we hear something from our elders, from our community, from the leaders again and again, again and again. So, it is repeatedly the same thing. So, we have our mindset according to that. Why? Because my father told, why my grandfather used to tell, my teacher said. So, we do not go beyond that, but we start in that same thinking pattern, stereotype, and that also becomes sometimes the cause of division, because we do not go beyond and see the truth. We just in that loop system what we received and we think this is this. There is also one reason we are talking about the internal reason which makes our mindset, social identity, because we live in society. We cannot think of living alone, we cannot exist alone, because we have to depend on other people. The clothes we are wearing, the food we are getting, medicines we purchase, whatever we have, we are consuming or we are using in life, everything has the contribution from the society. So, we have to depend on others, we receive the education from others. When we are living in the society, there is naturally sometimes we favor a particular group of people, sometimes we do not like some people. So, it is also quite natural, but this also is the internal cause of conflict or division in the society. The same group of people, they get more favoritism, that okay, they are my people, they belong to my community, they belong to my country. So, I will favor them more. This is also another cause, because we do not see everybody equally, which we should. So, the desire to achieve and maintain a positive self image also motivates people to place their own group in a superior position as compared to the other groups. So, this becomes conflict. There are some external factors for the division. For example, the cultural divide which we see at present time. I will just take simple example, that the culture in the Gulf countries is totally different than the culture in India or culture in the West. I am not talking about good, bad or comparing, but I am telling it is just the culture of the communities. It is different, but when there is a disconnect, we do not understand the other's culture and then we misunderstand, misinterpret, and then it becomes the cause of conflict. So, there is no peace in the society, no peace in the community, no peace in the country, and we see a lot that there is cultural divide because of this reason. So, this is external factor, and because of these there are certain narratives which are created, and nowadays we hear a lot that this is the time of this is the war of narrations, narrative wars, means you narrate something in your own way and you just propagate it, and that is the truth, and media helps in all these. However, so in external factors there are couple of things which also contribute towards this division. One of them is sometimes official government policies, because each country they look at the welfare of their own people and they make the policies for the country keeping the welfare or good for their own people, but in that process sometimes they are not honest, or when they become biased. So, they make some policies, and these policies, or you can say these are the official source of information. For example, speeches. If a leader of a particular country makes some speech and he is focusing on certain aspects, people who follow him, they also get this mindset and they just blindly follow, and it happens a lot. So, the speeches by the government officials or the government attitudes to foreign governments lead to information released to citizens that influences the way they think about the foreign governments. So, how they present the official governments in their speeches, in their information releasing, how they present the other countries or culture, that contributes to division also. And a lot of propaganda is happening for that. Another external part which we are also victim of, as I started the talk, is the social media. Social media is, oh God, WhatsApp, Facebook, a lot of information which we receive, we never cross check, we never verify it, and we just keep on forwarding those wrong information. And it is necessary as a moral duty of a citizen to verify something before we release it to somebody else. If it is not correct, we should not spread it, but unknowingly we do. Immediately we saw some sensational news or some clips, and if we forward to 10 of our friends in the group without verifying. So, let us not do that, because that another thing which creates some division within the society or our groups. Before this WhatsApp came, I was not into this, not keeping mobile phone also, and in 2017, because of my lot of travel, I started keeping mobile to contact in case of emergencies. My college friends somehow found, after so many years I left college, somehow one or two found that I am a monk and I am staying here, and then they added me in the group. You also might have seen, yes, sometimes, but we discuss lot of spiritual or moral teachings sometimes, some nice stories to inspire, some teachings of the masters we share. So, it is not for other things, but still I saw sometimes in the group there are, let us say we have 200 people, and these 200 people sometimes they start favoring a particular party, political party or a leader, and then there is fighting. These political leaders, they are happily sleeping and enjoying everything, and we are fighting here unnecessarily, and our relationship is sour. Why should we do that? So, social media biases can cause misunderstanding and cultural divide by controlling the information and perception of other cultures. So, we should be careful in that. I will tell you one story of Saturn, although it is not good, but story of Saturn, it is just for learning. The story is like that: the donkey was tied to the tree, and Saturn came. What is the nature of Saturn? To create conflict. So, Saturn came and opened the donkey. Now, the donkey was very happy, and he ran towards the field and started spoiling the standing crops. When the farmer's wife saw this, she killed the donkey in anger. Seeing the dead body of the donkey, the owner of donkey got very angry and shot the farmer's wife. Now, the farmer was so enraged by the death of his wife that he shot the owner of the donkey. Okay. When the donkey's owner's wife heard the news of her husband's death, she angrily ordered her two sons to burn the farmer's house. The sons went in the evening and happily fulfilled their mother's orders. They assumed that the farmer must have been burnt along with the house, but it did not happen. The farmer came back and killed the donkey's owner's wife and sons, all three. After this, the farmer had remorse, and he asked the devil that all this should not have happened. Sometimes we also commit mistake and then we repent. So, he asked the devil that all this should not have happened. Why did this happen? the devil said, I did not do anything. I did not do anything, I just opened the donkey, but you all reacted, overreacted, and let the devil out in you. So, I did not do, but you started and you did. I just opened the donkey. That is why next time, before answering someone, reacting, taking revenge on someone, it is necessary to stop and think for a moment. Okay? Are you letting the donkey or letting the devil come out of you? Because we have both propensities, positive and negative both. In Bhagavad Gita, we have seen the war between these two, Pandavas and Kauravas, they are the two propensities. The positive is helping us to move up in the spiritual life, and negative tendencies are pulling us down. So, there is a force. Gurudev used to explain that there is centrifugal force and centripetal force. So, both are opposite and pulling us in their own directions. However, and yes, you also have to understand who the donkey is. Okay? Who the donkey is? Now, I will tell you, I started with that. Every single day, television channels leave donkeys and we keep fighting. They just leave the donkey and we keep fighting among our families, our groups and our friends. So, smile together and be happy. And remember, it is easy to break up, but it is very difficult to stay connected. Whoever opens the donkey has to tie it back. Okay? Do not let it open. So, there should be this understanding. Even if the donkey is open, immediately tie it. Do not let it go and then chain reaction, it will all spoil everything. It is easy to fight, but it is difficult to reconcile. However, so I am again cautioning that be careful about these social media things which are spreading a lot. I get sometimes lots of messages from different groups, and I just either I delete it or just keep it. I do not forward things. Only thing I forward is something like spiritual teaching, Gurudev's teaching or master's teaching, that I do sometimes, or sometimes I share some stories, moral stories or teachings. Sometimes I write, but not very often. There is also external cause, we call it social pressure. Social pressure is due to the fundamental need for the social companionship and a desire to be accepted and liked by others. And people often conform to social norms and adopt a group's beliefs and values. Sometimes they feel pressurized, but because they want to belong to a certain group, so they follow the same belief and values of the group, even if they are not convinced. But that the groups that are already culturally divided will tend to remain that way as the effect of normative social influence. So, we have to be also careful that not that blindly following the beliefs of somebody because they have said or they follow something else. It is always prudent for the citizens or the members of the society to come together and work for a common cause, common interests which will bring development. But this is not always in so many societies. There are divisions and divergent views which are dividing the people. Some of the things that divide a society are like we see in our day to day life. One is called political difference. We like some political party or some leader, and we just follow blindly. So, that also, because if the leader is not unbiased, because most of the time leader what they do, political leaders, they exploit the emotions of the people to bring them into their fold. Whether they are right or wrong, we also need to see that their policies are right, their thinking is right, then we should follow. But because of that political difference, we start fighting. And in India also I saw in our groups or families, many families they say. Then there is big factor which is called religious intolerance. Very unfortunate, in the modern time we see more division with the religious groups. I did not see that much difference when I was growing up, but now we see more. So many factors are contributing, but religious intolerance is also increasing, unfortunately. So, this also brings a division in the society, because there are many religious groups in the world, and these religious groups have different doctrines which their members follow. For example, we teach Kriya Yoga. So, what is our doctrine? We believe in all. We have no conflict with others. Okay? We respect all religions, and our teachings are universal, which has nothing to do with any religion as a practice. And that is what we believe, we practice, and we spread. So, similarly, the other groups also do whatever their beliefs are there. They have religious practices sometimes which are not in line with another doctrine. Just like I said, Kriya has no conflict, but there are some beliefs they have difference. And this is why the citizens of the same society never relate with other members of the same society. However, this another reason is called racial discrimination and tribalism. We will not talk about that, because but that also contributes. However, we know the problem. Now, what is the solution? We cannot say that there will be unity completely, because each person's individual mind is different, our mindset is different, our way of thinking is different. So, there will be difference, like God has made the hands, but the 5 fingers are not equal, and each finger or thumb, it has a different function or utility. In the body also, different body parts or organs, they have different function. We cannot say that it should all be same. So, there will be diversity always, but how to go forward? We have to accept it. So, that is why there is a concept of unity in diversion, unity in diversity. And when we live in different society, we have to bridge this gap, because the difference is there, division is there. Now, it is our duty to bridge that gap, but how to do that? Two things we can do. One is to understand the cultural boundaries. We know our boundary, we know other person's boundary, and we respect each other's boundary. We will not cross over that. Sometimes, what we do? Unknowingly, we make jokes about a particular community, which is not good, because it hurts the feelings of someone. It is completely wrong. So, why to do that? If we want to bridge the gap or cultural differences, we should not do such things which will hurt the sentiments of anybody else. So, we need to understand the boundaries, because it is a vicious cycle. If once we start, then it continues. And second thing which we must do, and we are trying to do even in this retreat, we call it interfaith dialogue. So, what is the purpose? It is to increase the interaction, because when there is interaction, we can discuss and we can share our ideas and come to certain common platform. If we do not discuss, we do not interact with others, there will always be difference, because the way I am thinking, the way others are thinking, we are not sharing, we are not trying to understand. So, interaction is more important, and then comes acceptance. Certain things we accept, certain things we leave it, okay, not to go with that. So, increasing interactions between two groups of people will always help to increase mutual understanding and fills any gap in knowledge of another group's culture. Because why it happens? Mostly because we really do not know the culture of other people, but when we have interaction, then we get to know and we understand others well. Different religions and different faiths are like various flowers in the garden of God, like you see in the flower vases, there are different types of colors of flowers. So, they are like different faiths and religions, and each one has its own beauty to admire and enjoy. In the current time, we see conflict of ideas and clashes between different faiths across the world. The simple reason for the friction is that we have forgotten the essence and core teachings of our religion, and we have become busy with the external show. My master Baba Hariharananji, he used to say that we are eating banana, no, we are eating the peel and throwing away the banana. When we are eating, so we should eat banana, but what we are doing? We are eating the peel and throwing away banana, means we are not looking at the core, not looking at the principal value, but we are busy with the external show, with rituals and many things or beliefs. But what is the central core of any religion or any teaching of master? You know, when I was thinking about this topic, I remembered that when we studied in our monastic training, comparative religions also we studied, and religious books of all the religions, we studied that, and that gave us good understanding, because Kriya helps us to go deeper and understand everything much better way. So, I was thinking about this, that in eternal religion, which is called Sanatana Dharma in India, which is the most ancient religion, we can say. I won't say religion, but it is the way of life. So, in the eternal religion or Sanatana Dharma, it is clearly mentioned in our Vedic scripture that there are two types of religion. Okay. If we say dharma is religion, for example, now dharma has many meanings, but here if we say religion only, so in religion there are two aspects actually. One is called Samanya Dharma. Samanya means generic or general form of religion, or it is called universal dharma, universal religion, and second is known as Vishesha Dharma. Vishesh means specific or personal religion. So, two aspects, one is generic form which is universal, and in each religion there is also Vishesha Dharma, Samanya Dharma, Vishesha Dharma. Vishesha Dharma means a personal duty or a specific duty or a specific religion. I'll clarify more. If you read the law book of sage Manu, Manu Smriti, in that he has explained about the 10 characteristics of dharma. 10 characteristics of dharma, they are Shaucha Santosha. So, I will tell, they are contentment, forgiveness, self restraint, non stealing, purity, control of senses, discrimination between right and wrong, which is called also Viveka, or between real and unreal, then spiritual knowledge, truthfulness, and 10th is absence of anger. So, these are the 10 characteristics of dharma. They are known as the Samanya Dharma, general form of religion. And then Vishesha Dharma means specific duties or specific aspect of religion. What is that? It is related to personal practice, and they are in eternal religion Sanatana Dharma, they are known as Varna Ashrama Dharma. Varna means the class or the caste, because you know there is a class system. I won't say caste, this word is included by the Britishers. There was no word of caste, it is the class. So, there are 4 classes. The priest class, those who are their responsibility or duties were different. They were supposed to study and teach and bake their food. Then second was Kshatriya, Brahmana, then Kshatriya, the warrior class, to protect the society. Then third was Vaishya, means business class people, to do the trading or rearing the kettles. Fourth was to serve these 3 classes of society. No one was superior or inferior. They were all complementary to each other, because one person cannot do everything. So, there was a system to help each other. It was a closely knit society, and this system was known as Varna Ashrama Dharma. So, each group was given a specific duty. The warrior was not supposed to teach or beg, but warrior was supposed to go for war or battle in case enemy country is attacking, or to protect their boundaries, to keep the law and order in the country. The priest class has a different duty. So, each one's duty is different. Now, Samanya Dharma, which I told, this 10 characteristics, non-stealing, purity, controlling the mind and senses, etc. So, they are common to all, but apart from that they had their specific duties, that is the Vishesha Dharma. So, that was Varna, and then there was also Ashrama Dharma, specific duty. What is Ashrama? It is the stage of life. So, according to the Vedic culture, the human life, complete human life was divided into 100 years, means considering 100 years divided into 4 groups. First 25 years, life of a student or discipleship, we call it Brahmacharya. The second, from 25 to 50th year, this part of the life, it was Grahastha, as a householder. You get married, get children and live your happy life. Then third was Vanaprastha, from the age of 50 to 75. This period, Vanaprastha means go to the, after you get education, you have practical knowledge in the society, then you go to forest and voluntarily serve the society, but live a very austere life, away from family, etc., no attachment. And then the fourth part or quarter of the life, which is the fourth ashrama, is the sannyasa. After the age of 75, so 75 to 100 years, you live as a monk. So, that was the system which is known as ashrama. So, varna and ashrama, the class and the stage of life. So, according to this, the duties were allotted, and that was the aspect of religion which is known as specific. But the common, which is the Samanya Dharma, generic form is common to all, but apart from that, depending on which stage of life you are, which class you belong to, you had specific duties also. But what I saw that in many different religions, the Samanya Dharma is common. Each religion is teaching not to steal, have perfect control over the senses, or self restraint, forgiveness, contentment. These are common to each religion, and this is the core of our human life. So, every religion has a generic form and also a specific form. It is not just eternal religion, but each religion according to their practices, they also have some specific duties or aspect of religion. So, people follow that accordingly, and when we have interaction, understanding, and it is easy to understand, accept each other and live happily, it is possible. So, Samanya Dharma or the common aspect is the law for all men. It does not change with respect to time, place, or any external circumstances. It is not that people in this particular period of time will speak truth and not in other period. It is not that people will be forgiving only from this community and not other community, because these are the common or generic form. So, these are common and universal for everywhere, any religion, and that is where we need to focus, because the personal or specific duties will be different according to the time and place. It will change, you cannot expect it same. So, acceptance should be on the other aspect where there is a difference depending on time, place and external circumstances, but the core of each religion is these 10 teachings, like 10 commandments of Moses. You will see almost same, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Yama and Niyam, almost same. So, these are the core teachings. However, if we read the ancient scripture Taittiriya Upanishad, so in Taittiriya Upanishad, now because now we are talking about Samanya Dharma, Vishesh Dharma. So, Vishesh Dharma, I said that it will differ from community, country, place, it will differ, and we have to just have develop the common understanding, accept each other, which has no conflict. For example, if I pray, I begin this class with a prayer in Sanskrit, because I had learned Sanskrit and I am chanting prayer in Sanskrit, but I should not expect others to chant in Sanskrit. You can say the same prayer in your own language. God knows all the languages. We will have to inquire how many languages he knows. I think he knows all dialects he knows. So, God knows and God accepts all prayers. So, why should I expect that you should chant in Sanskrit? And when I expect, that becomes the cause of conflict and division. I will accept the same prayer in English because it's exactly same thing you are telling, and I translated, let God protect us all. So, I translated, but I should not expect. So, because of my Vishesha Dharma, I learned Sanskrit, but the common core is prayer. Prayer is common, prayer to God is common, and in prayer what we are saying, it is also common. But where is different? It is the difference in language. So, that is depending on the time, place and country or causation. Why should there be any conflict with that? We have to explain and we have to see the core. What is the core? Prayer and love for God. That is common. Why shouldn't we focus on that? However, so in Taittiriya Upanishad, let me take you to the basic things of our teachings to bring unity and peace in this divisive world. Taittiriya Upanishad, the mantra says, Sa akamayat, God desired. What he desired? Eko aham bahusyama or bahusyam prajayeti. Let me become manifold. God was alone. So, God desired to become manifold. Then the mantra goes, he created this universe. So, first there is elemental creation. Tasmat va etasmat akasha sambhutah akashad vayo, and then mantra goes 5 elements. Then he created animals, birds. At the end he created human being, the best creation. We believe so. So, then he created anna, food for the sustenance. And this mantra continues, and then the mantra says that tat srashtva tadeva anupravishat. Having created everything in this universe, it was not live, it is just a created thing, and then God, tat srashtva, having created everything, tad eva anupravishat, God entered into his very creation in the form of breath. Now, you see the same Taittiriya Upanishad, which is 9,000, 10,000 years old teaching, in the Holy Bible, exactly same quote. In Genesis 2:7, it is written, the Lord God formed man out of the dust of ground, then he breathed into his nostrils breath of his life, and the man became a living soul or entity. Exactly same thing. So, now you see, if God created us, human beings, neither in the Taittiriya Upanishad nor in the Holy Bible it is written that God created Hindus, Christians, Buddha, Sikh or Muslims. It is not, nowhere it is written, because he never created, he just created human being. And who created all these religions? We created, because of our own mind, that I like this, I want to follow this thing, this is my ideology. So, if God did not create any division, who are we to create division? Think about it. If he did not create division, who are we? Who authorized us to create division? We should not. And because we are in the image of God, we are children of God, how can we be different? Yesterday Guruji said that we are in the image of God, and from the Holy Bible. So, if we are in the image of God, how can we be different from God? The kitten will look like a cat, the puppy will look like a dog, then why can't human look like God? Even we do not look like human. Yesterday we heard a nice story from Guruji's life, that looking at the human beings, but the person, holy person, was able to see the animal because of our past tendencies. So, we are really not humans. Gurudev used to tell that before you tell that you are human being, first you declare that you are not animal. We do not have courage to declare that. However, so look, what is the core teaching? What is the principal value or common dharma? We all are human being, there is no difference, anatomically, physiologically also no difference, then we should not look for any difference, we should look for the God or divinity. Now, if you again, I will take you to another teaching from the first Upanishad, Isha Upanishad. The first mantra of Isha Upanishad is the essence of all religions. That is the essence of all religions. It says, Isha Vasyam idam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjitha ma gradha kasya svidhanam. Isha Vasyam idam sarvam. Whatever is existing in this universe, whether it is animate or inanimate, whether it is moving or non-moving, everything is pervaded by power of God. Now, if everything is pervaded by power of God, means God is omnipresent, how can we differentiate it? That it is different, it is not like me, it is this person is my enemy, this person is my friend, how can we differentiate? Then who is differentiate? It is the mind, God did not differentiate. The mind is the cause of all this problem. However, so whatever is existing, it is all power of God, and Gurudev said there is nothing which is non-God. However, we find some gaps and we have to fill up these gaps. I will tell you another common principle to connect us and come to that unity and peace. We already discussed, Guruji had told about the breath. I will conclude because we are going out of time. So, in Prashna Upanishad there is a mantra, Pranasyedam vashe sarvam tridive yat pratishthitam mateva putrana rakshasva shrishcha pragyam cha vidhehina iti. It is second canto, 13th mantra in Prashna Upanishad. Meaning is that all that exists, pranasya idam vashe sarvam, all that exists in the three worlds, tridive yat pratishthitam, whatever exists in the three worlds, all rests in control of prana. Prana is the life force. As a mother protects, mateva putrana rakshasva, as the mother protects the child, O prana, O breath, protect us and give splendor and wisdom. Shrishcha pragyam, Shri, prosperity, pragya is the wisdom. And with this mantra in Prashna Upanishad there is a story, because Upanishads do not speak about any form of God. They say omnipresent, formless, absolute, that some attributes are there, nothing else. All these forms are also created by us later on. That is why there is a saying that God created us and we created our own God. So, the story in Prashna Upanishad is that with this mantra, there are 5 main faculties of our nature: the mind, breath, speech, hearing and sight. These are 5 faculties, main faculties in our nature. So, once there was an argument between these 5 faculties in the body, the argument was that who is the most important. So, each one was telling that the body exists because of me and I am the most important. So, to resolve the dispute, they decided that each one of them will leave the body in turn to see that whose absence is missed the most. So, first the speech left from the body, yet the body continued to flourish through, although it was mute, could not speak, but body flourished. The next eye departed, yet the body flourished, although it was blind, but there was no problem. Then the ear left, yet the body thrived, although it was deaf. Finally, the mind left, yet the body lived on because it was unconscious, but it still lived. But the moment the 5th faculty, prana, but the moment prana started to leave, the body began to die. So, other faculties were rapidly losing their life force, because without prana, without breath, none of these can exist. So, all they rushed to the prana and admitted its supremacy and begged it to stay. This is the story from Prashna Upanishad with this mantra in continuation. So, you see, what is the important thing for us? It is the breath. Our religion comes next, our body comes next, our relations will come next. Whatever exists, everything is secondary. First primary thing is the breath. If there is no breath, then nothing, the world does not exist, we are dead. So, what is the core of the teaching? What is the core of each religion? Now, I will tell you Gurudev's expression. He used to say, breath is my religion. Forget the external religion, we can say I belong to this faith, I belong to this religion, but what is the real? If there is no breath, where is your religion? If there is no breath, where is your body, where is your practice? So, first thing is the breath. Breath is my religion, remember this Gurudev's teaching, and if we can make our breath peaceful, our mind will be peaceful, our body will be peaceful. If we are internally peaceful, we can bring or extend this peace externally. If we are peaceful, we can bring peace in the family. If there is peace in the family, there is peace in the society, and so on, it extends, the domain expands. So, first thing we have to bring peace within, then only we can talk about bringing peace, otherwise we just talk and talk and talk, nothing happens. So, practically the core teachings of any religion it comes to the breath first. So, watch your breath, regulate it, make it more rhythmic, peaceful, calm, and you will see the difference in life. Then you can say that now I see unity in this world with along with the peace, even if it is a divisive world. Otherwise, our breath is restless, we are always restless. However, so in short we can say how to live in peace and unity in this divisive world. The first thing, I will make my breath peaceful, then I will bring peace within my mind, my body, then in my family, my relations, and then I will extend it further. But it is possible with Kriya Yoga, and we have seen the transformation, we have seen the effect of these teachings. Let us practice this sincerely. Thank you all. Praying to God and Masters to bring more peace, more love, more understanding, acceptance of each other in our life. Om. Amen.